Hey guys, welcome back to AI Battles. Today we're doing PROTOSS versus Alliance. We're trying a few different things, so you might think that this looks like a bit of a quick match game. PROTOSS don't have a main tank or a main healer, they just have, you know, the Tassadar. And the Alliance don't have a healer at all, they don't have a support. But I figure you don't actually have to, like, mirror. Like, not having a Tassadar on their side isn't even necessarily a disadvantage. And the PROTOSS don't have a main tank, but I figure they can just deal with it. They have the engage on Artanis. Whatever. The appeal is they can just run away. And we're trying a few different things. I realized that as a spectator you can do the super zoom out, which I figured, you know, might make things a little bit interesting. Makes it a little bit easier to follow the action. But yeah. I wonder if doing these AI battles is gonna, like, improve my map awareness on regular, you know, Hero League games, because literally I'm a full-time map aware person. Like, I don't have to worry about mechanics at all. Careful, Varian. Is he just dead? He's just dead. That's a great start. PROTOSS already have a pretty significant experience lead. But for the most part, we have things going. Interesting pylon layout. Probius is backing because they don't have a healer. Normally Probius is super easy to keep topped up because his health pool is so small, but that's not going to be the case here. Muradin is just helping out Falstad in the solo lane. Interesting dwarf toss there. Maybe Muradin will head up. He probably just came down for a gank or something. I didn't notice because even as a full-time minimap consultant, I'm checking it every like 4 seconds. Apparently I'm not capable of that. Jaina goes down. Really beautiful. See, the beauty of not having... Oh, trades out for the Probius. Beauty of not having, you know, a main tank or a healer is you just have so much raw damage. Not that, you know, Probius Tassadar is what I'd call raw damage, but that's fine. We take a look at talents. I guess this makes more sense to look at talents like across here, just because I know the images off by heart, and then we can keep following the action. Potentially... That was totally a kill. Come on, Artanis. Grow some balls. Amateur opponent goes for the armor at 4, which I'm not a big fan of. Giving up the shield talents feels pretty bad, even though 20 armor is quite a lot. You know, it's only 3 seconds. Amateur opponent is a must pick on this map. It's phenomenal against the Immortals. Picking up the Knight, the Shaman camp right before the objective. That's exactly what you want to do. This is the talent build I go. I know that the basic attack talents on your Q at level 4 is really strong, but I like just having the passive I don't have to worry about. And, sort of a weird talent there. That attack speed is fine. Fine talent build, I guess. Cannon build Probius. Nice. C-Smash variant probably makes sense. Can you smash the Immortal? Looks like you can, which is pretty good, because reducing its armor by 20, you become, like, a better Tyrande. PROTOSS are really, you know, positioning quite aggressively here. They're really looking to start chunking down the Immortal, which they need to do because they can't, you know, fight a sustained battle with no healer. Not that the Alliance has a healer either, but, you know, these two heroes have a lot of sustain. Falstad has the global. I think both teams just want to either get in, get a kill, or just trade out. We've got a decent amount of damage on both. Only, what, like 3k difference? It's not much. So the question is going to be now, are they going to force a fight? You know, both teams have pretty good engage, or are they just trading out? Trading does seem to be a pretty good option. With this Shaman camp out, you know, and Probius side soaking, which is actually, you know, pretty good to see. Like, you don't have to often see that in Hero League. The fact that he got side soak and they still got the Immortal by a pretty decent margin. That's nice. That's probably partially contributing. I never figured out how to check where the XP is coming from, but it's probably partially contributing to that XP lead. Yeah, not a ton of deaths. They are sending 3 bottom or just 2? It's probably going to change things a little bit. They just want to look to get this fort down, because this is going to get like a wall, probably very little more, but it's all about forts now. Greymane going down? Careful, Artanis. That was a weird cue. Artanis dies to the fort. Beautiful. Yeah, see, just gets a wall, nothing more. Oh! That is really significant. Phoenix. Careful, Phoenix. Elite AI, folks. 3 of them died to the fort. Proteus! Proteus! That moment when you win the objective, but then your entire team dies to just... to just nothing. Tessida, you should probably just go right round, dude. Don't try get past. Never mind. Jaina is perfectly happy to let you get past. In that case, you do whatever the fuck you want. He dwarf tosses in without healing static. But he's fine because... Excuse me. There is no focus fire from the Protoss. Back to this Phoenix Falstad solo lane. Phoenix has just such tremendous sustain. He's exactly what you want on a team comp with no healer. Because a healer can't even heal Phoenix for the first 50% of his health. But he can. So, he's really great against the likes of Falstad. Because you should never take Falstad damage from Falstad past your shield. Zartanis just did? Yep. Wow. It's been a pretty bloody game. 3-7. 10 deaths already. Everyone's died, you know, at least once on the... Wow, the Protoss just keep dying. That's the beauty of them having such a beefy front line, you know? Neither team has a healer, so they're all gonna die if you can get on them. And also, this team doesn't have a main tank, so it's very easy to get on them. They better be careful, there's a minion wave here. These 2 heroes are very vulnerable to getting dived. If a taunt... Never mind, there's no taunt. Have to be like a storm bolt or something. Now they are going to get level 10 going into this immortal phase. That's a really big deal. They can actually, you know, potentially just force a fight or something. If I was them, I would just head right down here and kill them all. They should be able to do that, like, with some level of confidence. He flies for the side soak. I usually do the opposite. I just walk out to get the side soak, then fly back in. Never mind, that's not what he was interested in. It is just going to come down to a race. They're really not interested in utilising their level 10. Must be looking for a later power spike, so it's just going to come down to a race. Turns out, the Alliance has it. I don't know if it's because of that 4% advantage. Probably not. You know, both teams have decent race comps, you know. Neither team is shabby. Greymane's phenomenal, but so is Artanis. Phoenix is decent, Jane is decent. Proteus, Tacita together are decent, so I guess... Yeah, with the C-Smash and everything. They did pick up the Proteus kill. Is this Artanis in trouble? Nah, they're too low. So the question is just how much can this Immortal get? Just the wall? Or are they looking at forts? Since they're not pushing with it, and it walks right past, classic Immortal, it's just going to get the wall. I'm just like, sometimes my camera just stands still for like long periods of time, but I guess I should keep it moving, because it's kind of cinematic. But it's just so zoomed out. Maybe I should just have it on like this, slightly zoomed out, instead of... We'll see. We'll try it with just this level of zoom first, for a little bit. Keep things a little bit closer to the action, because this is what... Oh shit. This is how most people play. Alrighty. Murden should be fine if he has his dwarf toss up. Oh, Zeratul finds himself in a little bit of trouble, but just not quite enough. Bunch of damage getting put on Proteus. He stood close to the front line, but just a little bit too long. Couple of Protoss heroes go down. I expect the Immortal to be spawning pretty soon. Wow. Another kill. Very bloody. Team Protoss is just not even close to 13. The Alliance have a really strong lead coming into this next Immortal phase. Are they going to pick up the Impalers, you know, the Shaman camp? They could almost just invade the enemy Shaman camp. It's only 15 seconds. Just getting this is probably fine, but last time when they had the level 10 advantage, they just weren't interested in making something happen, but bit of a sore throat. We'll see if they adjust their strategy now that they have a fresh set of talents. No Icy Veins from Jaina, which is interesting. She actually has a lot of talents I never take. Wow, W build Falstad, but with no Wingman. So it's like, is it really W build? A lot of weird talents coming out from this team. I'm just going to assume that that is a weird fly. Oh, he wanted the SIP. Okay, fair enough. I'm just going to assume that they've tailored their talents to the situation. Adjusted the meta. They're playing their own scrimmed builds. Looks like it is just going to come down to a trade again. This is not what you see in Hero League at all. People do not like trading. The interesting part about trading though, like the good side, is that the Immortal never has much shield. So even if you don't get the Immortal, you know, you can still pick up some value. They are going to get this for. Use your W on it. Man, if Tassadar had died because he didn't W it, I would have been so happy, because that's what you call instant justice. Instant karma is the phrase, I think. So, even though they're not pushing with it, this will get the fort, right? But it probably won't even make it to the keep wall. Oh, I suppose it'll turn to this anyway, which it might get. If that's one hit, it is. Great. I like playing the little game of when an objective's captured, of like guessing how much it's going to get, and I'm usually horribly wrong, because I don't know. Because I'm bad at the video game. Nice Stormbolt. This Proteus is just deleted. He was positioned like a monkey, so I'm not like, oh no, the stunlock meta, or like worried or anything, but okay. That kind of made sense. Brilliant. That's what, is that, what's that, like the 4th death to structures? Interesting. Oh, very Phoenix. Oh, another kill. Another kill. Wow, these games are surprisingly bloody when there's no objective up. Oh yeah, we said we weren't gonna show the timeline. A little bit late. Hope no one noticed. You often see in Hero League just nothing happens between the, you know, the objectives. People just sort of hang out in their lanes. They soak. They're careful. If they get an advantage, they might, you know, push an Impaler, try to get a little bit of siege done, but not like a lot. I suppose it's pushing into the later stages of the game, so you might see that no matter what. Baits out the phase shift. That has a really long cooldown. Zeratul has all the mobility in the world, so I expect him to be fine. Yeah, he had to use his Might of the Nearison though. This was a bunch of tools baited out from them, which might allow them to get a little bit of damage, potentially, but we'll see. It's definitely not like a huge deal. Might of the Nearison's not like a full-fledged ultimate. It's just a heroic. They really like the trade strategy on Battlefield of Eternity. I feel like if you have less race than the opponent, you should really be prioritizing side soak. You shouldn't just commit to the race and then lose the race, but I guess their thinking is that the race is so close, like, let's just go for it. Let's just see what happens. We might win. We don't want to risk losing any on the side soak. That's usually the dynamic you see of race comp versus teamfight comp, is how much side soaking has to happen. Wow, it is going to be neck and neck. Ooh, narrow win for the Alliance. Which would have made, you know, any structure damage here more significant. I suppose it would have just gone top then. So, never mind really, but I wonder what we'll see. They still have 3 top. Are they not planning on defending? I mean, they have Artanis, but you really want to start putting damage on this thing. They are just not phased at all. Not phased by this Immortal. I guess it doesn't have a huge shield, so they figured, you know, let's just get value where we can. Tannis finds himself in a little bit of trouble. Brilliant. Brilliant KO. Greymane almost died because he was slowed, so the salvo was the big damage, but I guess they were right, you know, about taking their time rotating down. It got very little value. Well, Tannis died, so you know, there's that, but things are still neck and neck. The Alliance have just a huge experience lead, but in terms of structures, you know, I feel like as long as you have all your keeps, the game is anyone's, you know? Because, you know, pretty big experience leads can be thrown away so easily that if you don't have that, like, very obvious macro advantage that catapults give you, and it's not even a talent here. There's like a big window before the Alliance have a meaningful advantage. We'll see if they can just coast to 20, but wouldn't be surprised if some... Yeah, see, that ultimate just got no value. If that swap had landed, you know, suddenly we were back in business. Obviously the PROTOSS are losing, but it really is any man's game. Careful, Jaina. Hope you're ready to sidestep the A. Never mind. They were not looking for it. Maybe they were looking for it, but they couldn't quite execute. Probius finds himself in trouble though. That is a huge deal. Death time is getting to the point where they're really long. This keep is, you know, minion wave is on its way. I think that closes out the game for Warcraft. Oh wow. We are seeing deaths just happen left, right and center. Warcraft definitely, not Warcraft, Alliance more specifically. Warcraft was too vague of a, they're just on the core. They just say, let's do this, let's end the game. 3 of them are dead. We don't have a ton of core damage between us, but beautiful core call. Let's work that shield down. You know, we've got our actual races on the Immortal. Why not try? Beautiful core call. Yeah, Alliance would have to start monkeying pretty hard to lose this one. They just have such a huge experience advantage. Fortunately, the AI has been known to monkey from time to time. Jaina picks up the kill on Tassadar. Probius is, you know, somewhat set up. He's going on an adventure. This is going to be a huge Immortal though. I think this just seals the game. A full shield Immortal with level 20. This is definitely getting a keep. Even though it has, you know, it has a wall up. It's hard to imagine this not getting a keep. And I would say, you know, definitely has the capability to end the game. But we'll see. We'll see. They're looking to get kills before it can arrive to stop them from being able to end, but you really need to start putting damage on it immediately, which was Probius's thought process, but apparently not the thought process of the other PROTOSS teammates. When there's a big Immortal coming, I always think, let's just start hitting it right away, you know, if we can. Maybe they were thinking we don't want to get caught in a fight without 20, because then, you know, it will end the game, but I don't think you're going to win with no keeps anyway. And Tassadar goes down. Okay. This is definitely a win for the Alliance. Pretty convincing game, I will say. I think the team compositions were just not fair. You can't just not have a main healer or a main tank. So I'm just gonna say this is what I planned all along. This was educational for the Hero League drafters out there. Draft a main tank, draft a healer, draft real heroes. Don't draft Tassadar Probius. Oh wow. Phoenix just goes down. Pretty crushing game, honestly. You know, we can't blame it entirely on their team composition. You know, they lost like 3 people to the fort. They've definitely, you know, been monkeying a fair about. You know, what is this? Q build Artanis. Basic attack build, Zeratul. Not that these talent builds make a ton of sense. Interesting game. What can we gather from the stats? We can gather the double front line was a real boon for the Alliance, you know. Their backline was just not threatened. Proteus got top hero damage, but he got it because people ran at him and killed him. Zeratul. What were you doing all game, Zeratul? Clearly not Zeratul things. I feel like this isn't the talent you want. I know he went this talent, so he thought, you know, I'm gonna press my Darkness Descends, I'm gonna smack him a bunch of times, it's gonna do a lot of damage. But it clearly just didn't work out. GG's, I suppose.